We're talking about an interview that was conducted with Larry Johnson, who's a former CIA officer and worked for State as well. Johnson was asked, last week, Colonel Douglas McGregor was a guest on Tucker Carlson's show. His views on the war are strikingly similar to your own. Here's what he said in the interview. I'm going to skip over some of this. The war is really over for the Ukrainians. Are we going to live with... the real question for us at this stage is, are we going to live with the Russian people and their government, or are we going to continue to pursue sort of regime change dressed up as a Ukrainian war? Are we going to stop using Ukraine as a battering ram against Moscow, which is effectively what we've done? Do you agree with McGregor that the real purpose of goading Russia into a war in Ukraine was regime change? I'm failing to... I mean, have we goaded? Has the West goaded Russia into war?
I mean, I don't see it like that at all.
I think so.
The only argument I can see there is NATO expansion.
Yeah,
but
that's all I can see.
He talks about using Ukraine as a battering ram. Are we going to stop using Ukraine as a battering ram against Moscow, which is effectively what we've done? I don't see that we have done that.
I don't really understand.
I think a lot of the points that he's making are kind of to go against what most people believe or are learning about this invasion of the last month. And I mean, there is room for people to believe whatever they want, but it doesn't mean that it's correct.
Is he saying we want regime change in Ukraine?
In Russia.
Oh, in Russia.
Yeah,
that's how I'm
sorry.
interpreting.
Okay, I was
that's how I
was
interpret it,
confused.
too.
Let me give you a little more then.
Yeah.
Second, and this is still the interviewer asking Johnson, second, do you agree that the Ukraine is being used as a staging ground for the U.S. to carry out a proxy war on Russia? Now, I think that's where we're starting to get in really deep.
Oh, boy.
Johnson responded, that General Doug's a great analyst, but I disagree with him. I don't think there's anyone in the Biden administration that is smart enough to think and plan in those strategic terms. In my view, the last 7 years have been the inertia of the NATO status quo. What I mean is that NATO and Washington believed they could continue to creep east Russian borders without provoking a reaction. I have not heard anyone say that until this moment that there is some plan to try to introduce regime change in Russia.
Lindsey Graham.
Has it?
He called for the assassination of
Several
Putin
times.
several times. Yeah.
Vocally.
So
Before grabbing his Coke and walking out of the room. That's what he did with Jackson.
But really, beyond that, there's been no serious discussion.
Yeah, there's no serious discussion. Is there a threat from the neocon front?
Oh, I don't
here?
see that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think that... do you think that's what he was even referring to?
I don't know. We have batted around the issue with neocons. I mean, there's not a regime that they don't want to change and democratize and liberalize. And then you've got somebody like Graham calling for Putin's assassination, which is just truly remarkable. But I have thought that's so interesting. You say that people have softened on Ukraine a little bit. I don't feel like I've heard the neocons talking as much lately.
Banging the war drums.
Yeah.
You're probably right. I haven't either, I don't think. I'm not sure what a regime change... I'm not sure how it makes sense to advocate for a regime change in a country like Russia. I mean...
Yeah,
it's not like
that's a great way to put it. It just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. I don't understand how anyone could take that position, and I'm not sure. Installing a new regime doesn't ever really go well, and I can't imagine it going well in Russia. So
Russia is not pro-Western. They're this weird
Eurasian
Eurasian
make
thing,
them into a
but,
pro-West
we've
country.
been their enemy for 100 years now, a little over 100 years.
Yeah.
So there's more to this. There's more to this interview that we weren't able to get to. I read this thinking, well, it's interesting to consider the perspective that, whoa, wait a minute, maybe Russia's in way better shape here than anybody is talking about.
And I do think that's something that we should keep close attention to as this invasion continues, especially with how many civilians are being killed.
It's an interesting
and hurt and
idea,
injured.
and it could be true. But as we've kind of picked this apart, I don't feel like this is a very persuasive case.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's reasonable to question things, question the one narrative that you're being fed. But yeah, I think after breaking this down, I'm not convinced that, Russia is going to win this and is doing super well.
I'm not either. The one place where this...
I think it's really hard to see where
hard
it's
to
going to
tell.
go from here. I think that it's very hard to see how the next months, which way it's going to go.
Yeah. Well, because I think the only person who has an inkling is Vladimir Putin.
Yes, exactly.
And nobody can read I can't remember if it's a New York Times piece I was reading a week or two ago. It might have been Atlantic or something like that. But the analysis was that clearly his Security Council doesn't know what he's going to do next. And we saw evidence of that with Sergei, not Lavrov, the head of the SVR.
spy chief?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not SVD. SVF? I can't remember.
It's
but yeah,
clear
they
it
don't seem to
seems like
know
a
what's
one-man
happening.
No,
Yeah,
no.
he's just
He
kind of
is.
running the show.